Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Coach Paul Tortorella Show. This is Jack Benedict. We're going to talk IUP Crimson Hawks football after the Coal Bowl, the Cal game, which IUP falls 36-24 in that one, in a tough win on Saturday night. Coach, you got off to another fast start. You came out, you scored on drives of 85 and 80, up 14-0. So you had them off guard in the beginning of the game, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We had a great start, but once we got the 14-0 lead, we didn't play very well the rest of the half. Gave up a kickoff return to start things. First play, 1st and 10, give up a deep pass. And now it's 14-7. They're back in the game. Kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit offensively. And they end up kicking a field goal. We got to stop down in the red zone defensively. So even though we got off to a great start and then didn't play very good in the second quarter, we felt good. We were still 14-10 up at halftime.
Mm-hmm. That kickoff return that they got, that kind of energized them, right away because it was 14-0.
Well, it's what we try to impress upon our guys, especially the younger guys, that the shift in momentum is crucial. And right now we're up 14-0, and we have all the momentum. And then we kick off and we lose contain on the kickoff, and their guy's a decent returner and they get the ball out to the 45-yard line, and now momentum starts to shift. They hit the first play, they hit a deep pass, great throw and catch, which they made. Quarterback made some great throws, they made some great catches, but we didn't cover them very well either.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if I've seen a game in a long time that there have been so many catches you could call miracle-type catches. And another one they almost made right down in front of where we were in the press box area. I mean, they, to their credit, but
right.
Wow.
Well, there's a couple plays where we play the defense exactly the way, the coverage exactly the way you got to play it, and the throw and catch are just, they were just great plays. You couldn't have played it any better. But there's a lot of other plays where we didn't play the coverage right, we left the guy free, we left the zone, and we made it easy for him.
Well, we were talking about the kickoff that kind of energized Cal. Of course, Carter comes back, gives you a 95-yarder, third longest in history, and boy, that had to energize you.
Well, there you go with the momentum.
Yeah.
We get the momentum back. We run the kickoff back. We're up 21-17. We lose the momentum on the next kickoff. We kick it down to the goal line. They fumble it around. The guy picks it up on the 5. We have 3 guys miss the tackle. He gets it out to the 29-yard line, and we get a face mask penalty. So now they start their next drive on the 44, and that leads to a touchdown, and now they got the momentum again.
Yeah. When Nelson Brown scored that touchdown, it was about a 22-yarder. What happened there? I mean, it was almost like he was untouched.
Yeah, we had a misalignment with our front, and we had a guy not run the stunt in the gap where the ball was hit. He just didn't run the stunt. I don't know why. We're supposed to have a guy in that gap and make the ball bounce outside. He didn't, and when you do that against good offenses and good running backs, like I had said earlier, we're making some mistakes that we were getting away with earlier in the season. Well, you don't get away with them against good offenses.
Well, the ebb and flow of the game, you got kind of the momentum back then after that.
Well, I think the big momentum shift was when we got the touchdown called back. We had the momentum. It was a great call on 4th and 2. We had them. They all played the run. Guy wide open, touchdown. We get called for an illegal man downfield. Called it. I'll be honest with you. It's not a good call. And it was away from the play. There's absolutely no reason to call that. They called it, so we had to settle for a field goal. Great kick by Sarka, 44-yarder. So now it's 24-24. It could have been 28-24, but it's 24-24. We're tied. We're late into the second half, so now it's a new ball game. It's anybody's ball game.
And the interference, or not the interference, but the lineman downfield, that was called twice in the game.
Yeah, there was one called near the end of the half where Lenny scrambled and threw the ball down to Dom, and he caught it at the 6-yard line with about 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. We had 1st and goal on the 6. Instead, obviously, it was a penalty, and we had to end up punting. That was probably not a very good call either, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't. The thing that we talk about is control the controllables. We can't control what the officials are going to call. So you have to play with the hands you're dealt, and we didn't do a very good job of that.
Yeah. Well, it was uncharacteristic that you had that many penalties. I mean, they had 10.
Right.
You also had 10, but you're only averaging like 4 going in. And on the next drive, an interference call really hurt you on the next time around.
Yeah, I think other than the 2 illegal man down field calls, which really hurt us bad, may have cost us 14 points. All the other calls were good calls. I mean, we had 2 face masks. We had 2 pass interferences. We had 2 other calls, offensive holding. We had 2 everything. And they were all good calls. And then obviously the 2 illegal man downfield calls we didn't think were good calls, but they were called, and they were the most costly. But the other calls, I mean, you can't keep grabbing the face mask. You can't keep pass interfering. You can't keep holding. You can't get those called on you twice, in the same game.
On your drive where McFadder picks it off and goes the distance 100 yards, what happened on that play exactly?
Well, when you're down there, as when you're throwing the ball down inside the 5, if it does get intercepted, you're in trouble on the return because it's really only the quarterback. You have nobody else. It's a short throw. It happens a lot. I saw it happen in an NFL game yesterday. I saw it on ESPN in a 1AA game. It was one of the big plays. It was a 106-yard return. So that, Lenny was a little bit late with the throw because somebody flashed on the rush, and the kid made an unbelievable play. He's probably the best defensive player in the league, and he made a big-time play there.
Yeah, he did. In Lenny's defense, a lot of drop passes too, some in key situations.
No doubt. I mean, we have a 15-yard comeback. We drop. It's going to be 1st and 10 going into their end of the field. We have a slant that we dropped that Dom, he might gain 20 yards after he catches it. There's nobody there. So those things, you can't drop passes, especially when you're wide open. You can't have penalties, and you can't turn the ball over. And you can't have mistakes in pass coverage. And we had a lot of all that.
All right, let's look toward the regroup time. Next game, Slippery Rock coming up, coming off a win over Mercyhurst. Tell us about them. I know they've used a lot of different quarterbacks, but now they've settled on this kid, Roland Rivers.
Well, he's actually the 3rd quarterback they've used. The other 2 have gotten hurt. Kid's a transfer from Valdosta State. Their offensive coordinator came from there, so there's a contact. He actually did start when he was younger at Valdosta State. I guess had gotten beaten out by a younger player. He has 2 years left. So he transferred in this summer to Slippery Rock, and when you watch the film and you see the stats and the numbers that he has, you think, how is this guy how was he not the starter?
Not starter.
And the other 2 guys actually had pretty good stats too. But this guy has come in and lit it up, thrown for a lot of yards. He's very athletic. He can run it. They have designed runs with him. I mean, for the type of quarterback he is, it's going to be a very tough task for our defense this week.
They don't have Marcus Martin anymore. The Rams have him now on defense. What do they look like defensively?
Well, they're going to play hard. They're very aggressive. They're a lot more physical this year than they were last year.
They have a lot of sacks, don't they?
Yeah, they'll pressure the quarterback. They'll take chances. They'll play a lot of man coverage. We had our way with them last year in the run game. I'm sure they're not going to let that happen and really load up the box to stop our run. So we'll see what comes of it. The thing that we have to be ready for is we haven't had to prepare for a game after a loss in 2 years now. Last year our only loss was the last game of the year. So last year we didn't have to prepare for a game after a loss at all. So it's kind of something new for our players that they've got to learn that it does happen. And after today, after we watch the film, you got to wash it off, so to speak, and you better be ready for Slippery Rock, because if you're still worried about the Cal game, you're going to have 2 losses, and the Cal game might cost you both losses. So we have to be ready to play our best game of the year this Saturday.
It's early in the week. Give us an update on injury. Samir Bullock, he had 90 yards in the game. He had a nice long run, too, and then he was out later in the game.
Yeah, he had a good game. He broke a couple runs. He had really flashed in this game up until the middle of the third quarter, and then he got a slight tear of his MCL. Early prognosis is he'll probably be out 3 to 4 weeks. He kind of has close to the same injury that Watts, our tight end, had. We're hoping we get Watts back this week. He'll be questionable. Samir, with the knee, won't play this week. So, we'll Justice Evans, Chris Temple, we'll get a lot of the load. And it hurts us, but injuries are part of the game.
Yeah. How about the wideouts? Zach Kelly, JoJo, they're coming along?
Yeah, I think we'll get them back this week. We miss Zach tremendously on the special teams.
Yeah.
He's probably our best kickoff cover guy. We also miss JoJo, especially in the red zone. So it'll be good to get them back and kind of be at full arsenal at wideout. We know we're down a running back, but hopefully we get the tight end back and will give us another tight end. And obviously if we get the wideouts back, we're in pretty good shape there. We feel good about where we're at with the offensive line. But the Bullock injury will hurt us.
Mm-hmm. You also lost another special teams player, Nate Bayer.
Right, on a kickoff coverage. That kickoff coverage, for some reason, the last couple years, we've lost one guy every year covering a kick to an ACL injury. And most of the time, it's an injury where there's not even contact. And so it's tough on a young player that's a redshirt freshman that's playing on some of your special teams to be hurt this early in the year, and now he's going to miss the rest of the year.
Mm. Well, knowing this team as I do and being around them and the coaches, you guys will have them prepared. There's no question about that. And how can you not be? Slippery Rock homecoming. It's an opportunity. Here you go. Second half of the season starts. A long way to go.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not even halfway through the season. Like we talked to the players after the game. I mean, all we lost was a game. You didn't lose the season. You still have your goals in front of you. West Florida played the national championship game last year, and they had 3 losses. So you don't want to lose because it hurts you in the playoff seedings, but you can't worry about that. You got to worry again, about the next game, and that's what we talk about when we win. Mm-hmm. So we need to talk about it also after we lose, that it's just about the next game.
Well, okay, go get them this time around. I know we'll have a big crowd, and enthusiasm around here continues to go with this team, and it's a tough league, it's a tough division, but that's nothing new, is it? You've been around,
No, it isn't. I thought we had a great crowd on the road at Cal. I mean,
thought so
great crowd. Looked like it was probably a sellout. When I looked at the whole stadium, it looked like it was pretty much packed. And on our side, we had great crowd on our side, and people traveled down to California from Indiana, and we really appreciate that. And hopefully this weekend, I know we'll have a huge home field advantage.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Jack.
Okay, that's Coach Tort. 2 o'clock kickoff, homecoming against Slippery Rock on Saturday, so we'll see you there with more of the Crimson Hawks action. This is Jack Benedict for the coach. We'll see you next week.